On this Saturday morning, all the students at Gitwe Girls from Form 1 to Form 4 are excited to be at the sex education session. For some of them, this is the only form of information on sex they get from any adult. The session today will be conducted by a sex educator, Gitwe Girls, and his wife, an alumna of the school, Anne Mudhoni, in the company of a few teachers from the school.
Nobody teaches sex education the way I do because I'm so special.
Gitwe takes pride in his style of teaching sex as he incorporates popular secular and traditional songs as he gives his sex talk. And usually the students join him in the singing, a tactic that is both involving and interesting to the students. Gitwe Girls is just one of the schools in which Gitwe goes to teach the students about sex at a period when sexual activity among students has soared, a trend that will perhaps go on rather than recede. According to a groundbreaking countrywide sex track carried out by a research institution, Infotrak, in women, 3% of 2,400 of those surveyed had their earliest sexual debut at 12 years old.
People engage in sexual activity early to experiment because they don't know better, because they feel everybody else is doing it.
The findings show that sexual activity in the respondents began picking up at the age of 15, 16 and 17, with more than half having had their first encounter by 18.
The girls, indicated that their mothers sometimes were, involved in actually helping them prevent teenage pregnancies.
Is it then that parents are living in a bubble, expecting their children to know about sex from other sources and act responsibly?
We can't quite confirm because no studies have actually been done to gauge whether parents are aware of the sexual activities of their children.
When interviewed, most of the girls prefer that their parents talk to them about sex, even though that was not the scenario.
Talking to my parents about sex is really a disaster because one, the parent cannot stand in a point where can stand with you to talk about sex. First of all, they think that you're too young.
We are saved, so talking about sex when you're saved sounds so weird.
However, there are those who prefer to hear it from sex educators like Gitwe, perhaps based on their religious backgrounds.
Like Muslims, sex is something like, all the parents talk about it.
Sometimes you see as if they think you want to do it, but you want to learn more about it. So it's very hard, very difficult.
It's so rare to find people who will actually come and talk to us so openly about sex. So finding somebody who can do that, and furthermore, he's a guy and he can relate with us girls, so it was really powerful.
As for the parents themselves, we found that it was easier for mothers to talk their children about sex as opposed to fathers.
You have issues with my daughter, I only discuss it with their mother.
I talk to my children about sex.
Kitu kizuri ni kugojea mpaka wakati wake ufike ili akiingilia hiyo mambo aingilie na kuendelea kabisa bila kusimama akijijua yeye anakaa namna gani.
Sex education should first start with the adults and then we go to the teenagers because the parents also have the same information about sexuality just like the teenagers.
A lot of myths about sex still exist among our youth. Myths such as, can a girl get pregnant while standing? Can pregnancy occur when one has sex during her periods? Or can oral sex cause HIV? Questions that, if go unanswered, lead to experimentation among the youth. Even in the 21st century, it is difficult for some parents to talk to their children about sex. But the reality is, it is happening for some of them as young as when they're 12 years old. And the message from the youth to the parents today is,
talk to us about sex.
There you go, you've had it. Olivia Okech reporting for Sunday Live from Gitwe Girls.